Hi everyone, and thank you for checking out my channel. This is Yesenia Shalane Dela Cruz, and this is part 3 of my life story. But at 5 months pregnant, it was pretty bad. I ended up going to his probation officer on what I should do. I knew he'd get in trouble, but not 2 years in prison trouble. He was already in probation, so that way he got in more time. We kept in touch. When I visited him in jail, this was one time he humiliated me. I went to visit him in Jefferson County. Then one day he asked during a visit for me not to go to court because the charges would have dropped. But then I'd have to spend 8 days in jail, 8 months pregnant. I told him, no way. He literally turned his back on me and hung up on the phone. And he turned his back, leaving me to cry in front of other women and bang on the windows out. But he couldn't and wouldn't turn around. December 31st, 2015, I had Jace via C-section. He was my tiniest baby, weighing 6 pounds, 2 ounces. The moment I held him, I knew my life was complete. Not too long afterwards, my old lifestyle started to just back up on me. I was using here and there and smoking pot 24/7. It didn't take long to fall in where we were getting evicted. My aunt agreed to pay our way up to Alaska so we could move back to my dad's trailer. 2017, we moved to Alaska, back to Kluwak. The whole ferry ride up, I went through withdrawals and thought I was going to die. I felt like giving up, but I had to do my best. I had 3 kids to care for, and my mom was with her withdrawal too. By the time we got to Clock, I looked for pills. Not are they only hard to find and come by, they're expensive, and I just couldn't do it. And raise through kids. That's where my alcohol side kicked in, and I was drinking 4 Locos, 3 at a time, every other night. I started dating a boy named William. I thought he was good, but he was always in bad mood. Horrible. But besides that, he was okay guy until he started acting real weird towards me and we started arguing. He told me to get out of his truck. I told him no, I wanted to finish talking. He said he was done, and then he started dialing the phone, and I asked him what he was doing, and I couldn't believe he said he was calling the police. By the time the police came, I decided to be polite this time instead of my normal self towards police, and the cop was very rude. William told him I ripped his shirt. He told him I was under arrest for DMV, domestic violence. I started crying and begging for William to stop this. I started walking towards him, begging him the cop, and he ran and tackled me like a football player. I instantly felt something shatter in an instant pain. I screamed for him to get off me, but he wouldn't. He told me, you all say that because I told him I hurt and I couldn't breathe. Mind you, this is all in front of my place. I screamed so loud. My mom came out, and the cop got off me and just pushed my mom back into the wood pile and said, I'll put you in the ground too. The first thing I thought was I dislocated my hip. They sent me to Sitco. Once I got there, they said there was nothing they can do for me, so they medevaced me to Anchorage, where I underwent surgery. This happened November 28th, 2018. The healing was hard and long and difficult. By January, I was wearing arm crutches to walk. On my birthday, January 18th, I met Andreas, and we hit it off. Instantly, he became my best friend and my boyfriend in a short period of time, but it felt right. He treated me different than any other man I've ever been with. To me, he is the most amazing, caring, selfless person I know, and I wish people could see him through my eyes. He has been sober for 6 years off of alcohol and all he does is smoke pot like me. So I slowed down on drinking and snuck it. And one night my mom asked me if I wanted to drink wine. I said sure, why not? He wasn't home. I thought I'd just have a glass, and the next thing I knew I was drinking and drinking, and more anger was coming out, and the more resentment was coming out towards my mom. And I got into a fight with her, and in front of the kids. I was so drunk and mad I didn't even know that my two oldest kids ran away over to their cousin's house. I was walking on thin ice, and an old friend stopped by who's a known drunk, came by, started crying, and her boyfriend, she asked me to have a shot with her, and I did. I asked my mom to watch Jace while I went out with her to get another bottle and cigs. We ended up going to Craig, where she said her dad was there. We ended up at the house at T&H Street. I went with her, and pretty soon people there were like, I know who you are and who your parents are, and literally 6 people jumped me. Somehow we ended up outside, and police got called. I was so drunk and out of it, I didn't realize he was a cop. He was dressed in civilian clothes. I guess I tried to bite his ear off and stuff. And Officer R, who had shit against me since childhood, he finally got his payback. He tased me 3 times. The first time I ripped it out, but the second and third is when it got me, and it tased me, and I couldn't get up. When I woke up, I couldn't believe where I was. I felt the similar material of the orange suit. I looked down and saw the folder of my discovery. I didn't want to open it. I didn't want to read what I had done. I had no recollection of that afternoon. I slowly opened it and I read each charge. My heart sinks just a little bit more. Luckily, my boyfriend and uncle had bailed me out, but a lot before OCS worker could come, but not before the OCS worker could come and see me. He basically said that it is out of his hands now. I screwed up too many times, but they didn't take them then. I lost them because I missed court. They said they couldn't get a hold of me and couldn't reach me at home, when I think it's total BS. Anybody knows me, they know, 1, I have my phone by me 24/7. 2, no, I'm a homebody, and I think it's so weird how the first OCS caseworker says all this, but yet knows where to find me to tell me I lost custody of my babies. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe this was happening. They told me I had till 5 to get their things ready, and get ready to tell them they're going away for a while. I remember telling my kids they had to go live with family for a while. I remember the first thing that my daughter said to me with tears in her eyes, "Mom, what did you do?" Putting my son Jace in the car seat with his little backpack, and gave him his final kiss along with each one of my kids, and watching the Subaru drive away, leaving me there standing empty with a heart broken into a million pieces. That night went crazy. I had a mental breakdown. I even cut myself, which I hadn't done in a long time. It was deep and required stitches. Luckily, they don't ask much questions. I had once told my counselor that I was a cutter, and he told me it's like, why you enjoying it? It's like having an orgasm, which I thought was really weird for the counselor to say something like that to me, and to just do it in a quiet place, and to make sure I cover up my cuts really good so no one could see. And I thought that was kind of weird too for a counselor to say. I couldn't believe my ears. My boyfriend was there at the time, and he said he couldn't believe he said such a thing. But I'm glad to say I haven't cut in 2 years, and I have not had any cravings to do so. I had the bumpy road to be where I'm at. I honestly never thought I'd be here sober, clean, and loving life as much as possible without my kids. First, they sent me to Stepping Stones in Anchorage. I lasted there a month, then left. I just couldn't take it, and the program was for 2 years. I couldn't imagine being there 2 years. My son would be almost 17, so I walked out one day, and luckily my uncle was there to pick me up and take me to my Aunt Joy, who let me stay there, and I flew out the next morning, and I had just gotten my checks to pay back. Second rehab, I went to his car house in Ketchikan. The one I thought was 3 to 6 months. I figured I could do that, but right off I got bad vibes from the staff, like they were fake. The other residents were okay. I made a lot of frenemies. Think while I was there, but there's girl and another girl seemed cool. We had gone on walks together, got to know each other, and talked about smoking. So we asked a random stranger for a cig and lit it. So I ended up out after a month later. The third rehab, Mary's place in Sitka. I didn't know at the time I had pneumonia. I knew I was sick and couldn't breathe. I felt achy and extremely tired. Trading with two big suitcases. The next treatment facility took me to the ER, where they said that they were instantly checking me in. It turned out to be pneumonia, and I was admitted to the hospital. The weirdest thing that happened was that I heard a familiar voice in the next room. It was my mom. Then they had medevaced her to Sitka too because she had also had pneumonia. She got out a day before me, but we were in the hospital 5 days. I ended up with sepsis as well. I got real sick. The treatment center had a big long staircase of steps, and I could remember trying to climb those stairs crying. I started crying again because I just didn't think I could climb those stairs again. But by the 5th day I was better, weak but better. I remember the first day I went back to treatment, I felt so welcomed and cared for. I could tell that this time this was going to be different. I could just feel it in my bones. My counselor was awesome. She actually cared. She actually understood, and she didn't judge. And it was just like she got me. The RAs working there were all super nice. The other counselors who taught the groups were great. At first, I honestly thought this treatment thing was stupid, and I didn't think I needed it. And since I had no choice, well, I did. But giving up my kids is not an option. So I went to treatment thinking I just go through the motions. But the way about the recovery was hard not to get caught up and find yourself listening and processing and thinking about your life and the people you hurt, especially if you have kids. You suffered. It's hard to say oh no, I don't regret anything for me. I do regret things, a lot of things. That includes evading of the things of pain and those lonely nights sleeping somewhere else and just their mommy, and I just can't be there for them. Who knows long it literally takes to breathe my breath away, to think of all I've already climbed mountains and hills, and I guess I want to swim in the streams as well. But no matter how much I want to say enough is enough, I am done, you win, because there's those bad thoughts are not to go through my head from the time to time, but those are just thoughts that are making me become stressed. But no matter how tough this battle, and those who battle, we didn't lose the war. Might have won the battle, but we didn't lose the war. I'll continue to do what I have to do to bring my babies home where they belong. I will continue to pray and continue to do what's right by my kids. Sometimes my words, actions, and don't even come close to how I feel. I swear I have a heart, even if it's a little dark. My court review happened at 8/14/20 and basically said I haven't had made enough process. And as far as they expected, they asked when they thought they meet them. They asked the higher up. They said to my OCS worker, if we go the legal guardian route, how long do you think Miss Dela Cruz you think before she can get her kids back again? OCS said, I don't know, a year. I wanted to scream on the phone. I wanted to cry. I wanted to say something. I wanted to try to change their minds, but I knew I couldn't. I had to pull myself together and just say, okay, Your Honor, and understand with tears in my eyes. Fast forward a few weeks earlier, before it was court, real court. It'll be over phone, but it's still nerve-wracking. I feel like I can't even do that. Social anxiety is that bad. On Friday, the 18th, 4 days after court, everyone was condemning me for doing so well, which so proud of myself for handling and moving around lately to keep my mental health in check. It's a daily thing. It's a daily basis. If you all didn't know, I was having a hard time sleeping, not being with my kids or Andreas, just trouble sleeping. So they put me on this new medication and gave me really bad reaction the next day. She says she's the hope worker and is the type to hype up a story. We had an appointment at 10. I woke up at 7:30, went to bed at 2:30, taking my meds at 11:30. I was still having effects from the medications, having a little drowsiness, which basically, especially if you're a former drug addict, do you ever ask more under you to pull the popper till I looked drowsiness. The only reason I feel the hope worker was exaggerating her words, because if I looked high or couldn't even keep my eyes open, I looked to be one underneath the influence. I did not look high, and I came out for me. But by the time they came to my house, it was like an hour and a half later with them telling me that they needed to talk to me about my previous behavior. I had to do and start a drug test, and it's malfunctioned to go ahead with the visit. I was thankful, and now we have court again in December. So it's been kind of like a really emotional time since the court. I've been seeming to just make mistake after mistake. I had wrote a comment about my son playing in a certain area, and I didn't want him to get hurt because someone's dog got ran over in that area, because people speed and don't really pay attention, and there's kids playing, and it scares me. And so I made a comment, something like that, and it got blown out of proportion. Not the step parents, the foster parents think that it was about them when it really wasn't. I wasn't directing it towards them, but that's not even the point no more. They think that I'm attacking them for whatever reason. It is, I'm not. I was just concerned about my son's safety, because the last time I went up there, when I was able to go up there and deliver the packages to the kids, he was out there by himself with another kid, but I mean, it's not an adult, it's just another little kid, and they were playing, and it just scared me. And I feel like as a mother, I have the right to say, hey, I want my child supervised when he's outside. He's only 5 years old. I don't want him outside by himself, but I guess I can't say that. I guess I have to keep my mouth shut and pray to God every day that nothing happens to my son. And, it's just frustrating. And it's frustrating to be under such a microscope, to know that every little thing you say, every little thing you do is being pretty much recorded. And being to where we have, where OCS knows every little time I breathe or burp or have a hiccup, it seems like. But I miss the kids so very much. Tonight we get to go have pictures taken with them, get to do family pictures. I'm so excited about that. And so, yeah, I'm going to be doing some more videos here soon, so please check those out. And thank you for checking out my channel, and I will see you guys later. Bye.